New Sky Piercer damage display. Cyclops with faster ultimate. Hey guys, what's up? Today we're checking out the latest update on Advanced Server. First up is the item Sky Piercer. When it activates, it will no longer display the 999 true damage. Instead, it will show the actual damage that's required to kill the enemy hero. For example, I'll kill this Layla. As you can see, it only displayed 21 true damage. The number will change depending on your stats and the enemy's max HP. Now let's test it on a Hylos with full build. And there you go, no more 999 true damage. With the new Sky Piercer, it will only show the required damage to kill the hero, unlike before where it always had that scary 999 true damage. I think they made it this way so that many players won't think it's an overpowered item. As you can see from these examples, the extra damage it deals is quite low, especially if you have few stacks or if you're killing a squishy hero. But for tanky heroes, it's a different story. Moving on, let's check Cyclops' new ultimate. It now moves faster toward the enemy. Cool, right? However, to balance this new feature, they had to nerf some of the skill's attributes. Its damage will be lower by 100 magic scaling, and the immobilized duration is now shorter from 1 to 2 seconds depending on the travel distance to now a fixed 0.8 seconds. But in return, the cooldown is way shorter from 43 down to 16 seconds at max level. That's quite big, right? So basically, the ultimate is faster and you can use it more often. The downside is weaker damage and shorter immobilized duration. Remember though, this is labeled as experimental adjustment, which means it may or may not reach official server. Next is Dyrroth, where the developers plan to make him more of a fighter instead of an assassin. First adjustment is his passive skill, where they increase the heal and damage from his enhanced basic attacks. This will allow him to go head-to-head against sustained fighters. However, there is a nerf on his skill 2 defense reduction. Both versions of the skill will now have weaker defense reduction, which means lower damage. So basically better sustain and survivability while weaker burst damage. What can Dyrroth users say about this one? Next is the adjustments on Zhask's attack speed build. Every 5% attack speed will now add 1 damage to his spawn's basic attacks. This was made so that attack speed stats won't go to waste. Remember, the damage frequency of the spawn does not become faster with attack speed. It will only inherit attack effects like Feather of Heaven or Demon Hunter Sword. With the new version, attack speed stats will somehow benefit the spawn. Next is the buff on Thamuz, where the developers noticed that he was losing steam at late game. To fix this, they've given his passive skill a boost. Now as you level up, that lava is gonna hit harder and harder with that 120 base damage at late game. Next is the experimental adjustment on Joy. The developers shortened the interval of her second skill from 1 second down to 0.8. It means there's less waiting time when trying to hit those perfect beats. Here's a side-by-side comparison of official server. As you can see, the beat is faster on advanced server. It also means you will need to practice and get used to her timings once again. This adjustment was made to increase her burst capability instead of dealing sustained damage. Part of the adjustment is her ultimate, where they reduce the number of hits, but in return, they increase its damage. So basically, Joy doesn't have to stay longer on the battlefield to deal her full damage. Her second and ultimate are shorter while her damage remains the same. Is this a good adjustment for Joy users? Next is the adjustment on Masha. Her first skill will have a shorter cooldown in the early game, as well as stronger basic attack damage. Ultimate will have a fixed cooldown of 35 seconds on all levels. Meanwhile, the base damage is slightly higher in the early game. The developer said this adjustment aims to improve her early game while slightly nerfing her late game ability. Next is the nerf on Ling. His critical damage bonus is lowered from 150 down to 140. This means weaker damage output for this high-flying assassin. Next is the buff on Cici. She gets an extra 5 points of base damage on her first skill on all levels. Next is the new hero, Suyou. The top version of his second skill now has an HP-based damage feature. The skill will now convert 20% of the target's missing HP into damage. This means the skill will hit harder against low HP enemies. Last one is the new skin series called Kishin Densetsu, and the featured heroes are Carrie, Angela, and Lancelot. This event is similar to Soul Vessels and Jujutsu Kaisen, where you need 1,200 crests to get a skin. So what can you say about this update? Do you like the new Cyclops Ultimate? Share your thoughts in the comment section. That's all for this video. Stay safe and thank you for watching.